cool. Y'all, welcome. I know we have some new faces. So there's Tyler and friend and company. I'm just reading your name on the screen. Just the only reason I know that. But what we're going to do today, right? And this is going to be all equipment variable. So if you have different equipment or I don't know, you have questions about that, you're more than welcome to ask. That's kind of the nice thing about being in real time versus watching later on. And I will say, maybe we will adjust accordingly, but if anyone has limitations, it doesn't need to be a broken toe joint. It could be something else. Just you can either direct message me or just ask openly if you're comfortable with that variation. I'm going to post the workout, but you just need to listen. So this is more for a reference if you want it, or for Meg when she's posting it later. Apologies for typos because I have a lot of those apparently. So fairly similar to last week. We have, and apologies, I didn't change the reps. I should have. I'll do that again, Meg, so it reflects accurately. Excuse me. Okay, beautiful. All right, there you go. Second one is the updated version. It's just the reps are a bit different. On the first part, everything else is updated. So essentially we have 4 total working sets of some tempo front squats. Again, we have variety of squats. So depending on what you have available, choose wisely. You're going to go directly into 14 alternating reverse lunges. Obviously, Meg, we're not doing that for you, but that's okay. We can adjust. And then you're going to rest between sets. So the rest is going to vary from person to person, meaning the heavier the loads you can carry, the longer your rest break. So up to 1.5 minutes or longer for some. If for those of us like with me, I have 10 pounds at home or 20, I might not need a full 1.5 minutes. So I'm going to let you decide, but I want a distinct rest. If it helps set your Garmin or timer of some sort, that's okay. From there, right, four working sets of 5 reps. And then we're going to do 3 sets of alternating bird dogs. Prone swimmers are Superman, so basically some upper back or shoulder stuff. So we're going to be facing down. Sorry, Maxine, I'm going to lose you for, for a while down there. And then we have 8 per leg split squats, which Meg, I actually think we should be okay if you go Bulgarian, if you're comfortable. You tell me if that's a hard no or not.
Yeah, I think we're Bulgarian. That's
Yeah,
good.
Bulgarian would be, you can go shin on box or bench. So there's no pressure on the foot. And then we have some core work. So some mountain climbers with some pauses, prone toe reaches, kind of like basically a crunch, and then an alternating Samson stretch, just open up the hips. So if none of that causes you concern, or maybe you kind of, mull it over.
For me, there's no chance in hell I can do the mountain climbers, so we'll have to come up with something.
Yeah, we will. All of this is as it's written. So basically I'll approach each section at a time for its adaptations. Yeah. Let's go ahead and just start with some cat cows. Sort of keep it gentle. It's early. We'll see how you're feeling. We're going for 10 or so. So allowing some movement. After your cat cows, again, about 10. We're moving to bird dog. So this is part of our piece later on, but it's good to practice now. You're going to extend a foot, right? You don't have to put the toe down. You don't want to. The arm is an option. There are variations of this movement, but I want to focus on keeping the back and the pelvis flat. So you feel like your hip is opening, right? Listen, towards you in this case. Go ahead and rotate your hip downwards towards the floor. Not so much you feel like you're going to fall over. If you're not sure, you can always do this in a mirror or just record a video. Lost count, but I'll do one more just in case. Just for good measure. A little upper back rotation, so usual sequence here. A little reach towards the ceiling. This reach through this gap between the wrist and the knee. And let's do 5. 5 per side. If that feels like too much, do less. Feels good, you're free to do more. When you switch, it's okay to recognize differences in rotation. So more or less on one side. And that rotation through is totally up to you. All right, so let's do this. We're gonna move into our shin boxes or 90-90s, similar name. So feet are flat. It's okay to lean back if you want to make this a little more hip bias. It's okay to round or flex a little back if you're comfortable. That's going to be a choice that you can make for yourselves. So I have my feet about shoulder hip width apart, usual, right? I'm gonna drop my feet off to one side. I'm on my right side, hip, knee, ankle, left side fully off the ground. When I switch, yeah, do 10 of these. This is one of those movements or stretches. I never want it to be a 10 out of 10 pain scale, right? This should be like 2, should be really gentle. And if it's not, let's adjust. And in this case, you can actually roll. Yeah, you're doing good with flat foot. But if you have any feet stuff, you can actually roll through the heel. You don't have to use, I would say, any forefoot, unless you have some, let's say, plantar fasciitis to the insertion of the heel. That might be a little bit different. Doing 10-ish. It's okay if you do a few more, a few less. And it's okay to feel a stretch on both hips, right? Top or bottom. For me, I usually feel it laterally on the top hip and kind of deep into the bottom hip, but not in a bad way. Once you have your 10, again, I've lost count, but hopefully you're counting for yourselves. Let's kind of discuss lunges or lunge adjacent movements. Maybe let's have you do maybe good mornings, just a nice stretch, feels good. Or should you prefer a single leg deadlift? Yeah, so that's fine. Adding assistance as needed. You can go single legged only, as in stay on one leg, or if you're using both, use both. For the rest of us, right, we're going to go ahead and do 12 alternating reverse lunge steps. So this is one where if you have the option, right, to potentially use, if you have a barbell, congratulations, very cool. If you don't, it's okay to either grab the same weight you're lifting for your squats, perhaps. It could be you have a different set of weights, a little heavier, a little lighter, that you can lunge with. So last week, I don't know or the week prior, I don't know if you weighted the lunge steps, but weighting your lunge steps is an option. Okay. If you didn't before, let's try it. If you have and hated it or it was clearly not okay, that's okay. So with or without weight, okay, I want to go ahead and do 10 alternating reverse lunge steps. I'm going to face the camera here, but it's okay for you to be at a different angle. And ultimately, I want your feet, I would say hip width, right? Maybe shoulder width. As I step back, I'm going to make sure that I find my balance first. So I'm 50-50 here. Okay. From here, I'm going to come down. From the side, your shin angle, right? So from knee to hip, right, is going to be up to you. It could be pretty vertical, right? Or if you like a knee forward position, that's fine. It's just going to be more knee heavy. So I want something balanced. Let's go ahead and do 10 alternating. Back knee does not need to touch, although it can. If it does touch, be gentle, please. And this is just, we're just practicing this second or secondary piece here. If you like to add weight, right? You want to add weight, you can grab a singular weight. Or if this is more just a balance exercise for you, having no weights might be more appropriate. So there's that. And just to be clear, we're just practicing what we're doing in a few minutes. Beautiful. So for those of you who have, I would say, a pair of dumbbells, let's say on the medium to light side, so something that you can hold here. Yeah. If you have a bigger dumbbell or kettlebell or weight, could be a bag, doesn't matter, full of books, you might want to hold it at your chest because that might make more sense because just the size of the bell or the object might make sense to have a singular object. And then either way, I want you just holding it towards your upper body. So behind the back, if you have a bar, in front of your bar, for those of you who want a front squat with a barbell, or we have dumbbells or kettlebells. So ultimately, right, our tempo is going to be a little less, it's going to be a little faster than last week. So instead of 3 seconds down, right, it's going to be 2 to 3 seconds. That just allows for some of us to ease up on the tempo a little bit. And ultimately, do my best here. I'm going to do a singular object, but you can do two. Okay. Get my whole body in here, but my feet are squat width. I'm holding my weight in front, or for those of us who have weights like this, you can hold one on each side. And my tempo is going to be a solid 2-3 seconds. It's going to be either 1, 2, 3. So nothing crazy. A 1 second pause with my hip at or below parallel, if I can help it. I know it's just below camera angle, but I'm not adjusting to a very low seat. We're doing that for 5 reps. Once you've done that, you're going to go directly into your lunge step. So that for some of us might be like, great, I've done my 5 squats, right? This is my 5th rep. I stand, then I have to bring my weights down. I'm using them. 1, 2. So let's start with 5 tempo squats of some variety in front, shoulders, maybe a back rack position. And then 12 alternating reverse lunge steps, unless of course that causes some discomfort. Yeah, beautiful. I also have a barbell. It just doesn't fit in this room very well. It's too many things. So that back rack's great. Honestly, even a broomstick, if you need to practice that first. So 3 down, 2 to 3 seconds down. I would say 1 second pause, meaning foot is fully flat on the ground, rib cage is down, you feel good, stand back up. You can add weight to that, Tyler, if you can, what is that called? Bradford press over your head, or clean and jerk it, or back, I don't know. Feel free to load that up. But if it gets heavy enough, I want a full 1.5 minutes of rest. If you want to, yeah, you can back rack lunge with the barbell. The other option is if you want to go unweighted, depending on how you feel about that. But I want your hands off the bar during your break, basically. There you go. Yeah.
Right into the next set, coach, or pause in between?
let's pause in between. And that rest is going to vary. Yeah, good question. That pause is going to vary depending on your physical and mental state. And for some people, we might need a longer break. Or if I were doing this in the gym, or like I say, a fully equipped gym, of which I do not have, I would add a weight to my barbell, but I wouldn't lift for a full minute and a half. So that's, and just to be clear, there's 12 total lunges, not 12 per leg, just to clarify.
That's right. And just so you know I can go lower on these, but I start to feel knee and toe when I go a little lower. So I'm
Yeah,
getting to the place of where I can feel it there and then holding it.
totally fine.
I'll get back there. At least I'm doing it.
No, I totally agree. And I'd rather you feel like enough pressure in the foot, but not so much that you feel like the big toe has to work too hard. Because the big toe is a big factor in all
Yeah,
this.
I know. If it wasn't, I would have chopped it off with a machete mid-race, man.
I may or may not have dropped a barbell on my foot in, I don't know, it's been years now. But from over my head, because I was tired and dumb, and dropped it onto the joint of my big toe. And I was like, that's weird. My foot hurts. And I kept running and overhead squatting, adrenaline. And then I was like, huh, I can't split jerk anymore. My toe kind of, oh, oops. Didn't break it, bruised the bone badly. It was just dumb. What are you gonna do? Beautiful. With, like I said, if you, that full minute and a half feels aggressive, as in like, frankly, you're bored and over rested, it's okay to start again. I just want you to listen to your nervous system because it might give you a different opinion than what you think. And apologies, I'm not going to run five.
The addition of Tyler's dog is the best addition to Tuesday morning strength in a while. 100% pro dog here.
This is Rohan. He thinks it's ball time.
Yeah. I mean, it's always ball time.
He's working out too.
All right, next it.
I mean, yeah, so like I said, the rest, I said a minute and a half for, if you have, I would say increasing loads, or maybe just it's heavy and that's the only weight you have. But what I will say is the timer, normally I'd just say run a big clock. In this case, it's okay to run a Garmin or your phone or honestly an analog clock. If you all swim, you can read a clock, do that. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna dig it. Front squats. I haven't taught a front rack in a long time, but I forget that doing this with a bar isn't normal for people. I don't understand. Unless you've done like, if you've done any serving of beverages like this, then you're a pro. You're like, got this. It's been a couple of years, probably a little rough. Aris, if you can, hold the weights a little higher up if the weights are tolerable. So here, maybe one here, a little less by your side. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. This is just more challenging with the it. Since you're split squatting now, Meg, let's have you, I'll change up the split squats for the second part. We'll change it up a little bit. Nice job. Everyone's doing a really solid job, but at any point, if you need to either deload the lunge a little bit, as in remove weight, and just focus on balance. You could also reduce volume. 12 is too much, do 10. And I will say, if you're running a clock for yourself, just approximately is fine. Does not have to be a perfect minute and a half rest. And I was going to, if you have any questions as you're going through this, it's pretty straightforward for now, but if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. No, it's tough to get like your whole body in the frame, so don't worry about if you're like a neck to foot situation or vice versa. Beautiful. I think I get the impression many of you are in third round. Yeah, or maybe four. Four. You're just too fast, Mike.
I eyeballed the rest and I didn't have a clock.
I'm kidding. I'm just giving you a hard time. I'm just saying that you're speedy. That's all.
Yeah, I know, but I also know that speedy isn't always the best. So there you go. Just call myself out for that.
Well, I mean, I will say the load you're carrying are much lighter. So your rest being shorter actually isn't the worst thing in the world.
Also, I'm just excited to move. I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm so happy. Sorry.
But are you vibrating? Because you haven't.
Yes. Yes.
Stir crazy?
Chilling the fuck out is not my forte. We all know this now.
That's okay.
Every piece of stainless steel in my house is shiny as hell, though. Just want to let you know that.
If you owned a Cybertruck, you could just chronically do that.
I could start a business, but I'd be too wanting to pull the panels off of them. So then I would lose my job. So there you go.
I mean, they might just fall off by accident.
Well, yeah, because glue.
Right. They're heavily defective.
Yep.
I don't know. Sorry if anyone owns a Cybertruck. They just made fun of.
Feel like if you have one, you got to have a thick skin right now.
I mean, they're objectively defective. I mean, regardless of your opinions on all of that, they are really poorly made things. You can say that objectively. That is not a judgment.
The data supports this statement. Yes.
Yeah, that is. Anyway, we digress.
I think extra points for Tug. There you go. That's some resistance training.
Yeah, some extra training. Oh my God. I love this dog.
Okay. Alternating bird dogs, swimmers, Supermans. Oh, these are gonna be good. And then well, yeah, okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about split squats because I realize you just did split squats.
So split squats are awesome.
What was that, Tyler?
How many sets are we doing?
4 total.
Yeah, cool.
I think most people are on 3 or 4 or going into 4.
Yeah, I'm about to start 4.
Perfect. Yeah.
Did I do 4 then? I lost count. All right.
For Aretha, because I feel like you were sort of just behind Meg.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think at first I was taking shorter breaks, but okay. All right.
Yeah, like I said, if we were in a quote traditional gym setting where we are progressively loading your weights, so I'm like add more, add more, add more. That's where that minute and a half becomes pretty critical.
Yeah.
But because we are in different situations with different weight options and sometimes no weight options, right? Or no traditional options, right? Just to be clear, if you have books in a bag, you officially have weights. Just make sure the bag can hold your books. So depending on your options at home, or if you're doing this in the gym, then I would say, right, if you have a rack and a bar and weights, let's make a full minute and a half rest, right? So if you're squatting hundreds of pounds or up to hundreds of pounds, that might need to happen. It's like the intensity of an interval. If your interval, swim, run, bike is really hard, and the intent is a full like rest, you're gonna have a longer break, right? Same principle. We're just using weight as intensity as opposed to weight and time, as opposed to, let's say, speed, right? Like heart rate. But I promise if you did this under bigger weights, your heart rate would start to creep up a little, sneak up on you, because it does that sometimes. I'm going to talk about part B, Tyler. Keep rolling. You're doing great. But I'm going to talk about part B. I've been attacked by sushi. It's a cat toy.
Where's your now?
Yeah, Nikki. Yeah, Nikki has a terrible habit of buying these things. Anyway, so 3 total sets. I'm going to talk about the prone swimmers like this and then show you because my face will be in the ground. But we have alternating bird dogs. We just did these, right? This is one of those where we're just going to do 16 alternating 8 per side. These are okay if they're fairly low intensity. And I want to say the arms are always going to be an option. I want to bias your legs, your leg lift versus your arm reach if balance is a factor. So 16 alternating bird dogs, 16, I said prone swimmers or Supermans. I'm going to show you 2 variations here. One is slightly more simple, and one has more shoulder rotation. So if this is not feeling good, we might just be doing that, or maybe to the side if we need to open up the chest. So different ranges of motion are going to be, here, depending on what your shoulders are allowing you to do today. And then 8 per side, again, 16 total. Split squats, which similar to yours lunges, but different. So bird dogs, we got that. We did that in the warm up. Prone swimmers. This is where you're facing down. I want your toes together, so just a nice active lower body position, and a gentle butt squeeze. And then from here, I'm going to go diagonally. My room is not long enough here. I'm going to start with my palms on either on my butt, on my low back, if that's too much, on the ground in front of me. And when I do this, I want my shoulder joint behind my pec at all times. So I don't want any collapsing of the shoulder, even for rotating the shoulder. Looks like this. Toes together and down. Here. Here. So I'm skimming and not touching the ground at all. It's if you're skimming the ground. But we're doing 8 of those. If that's a hard no, rotating the shoulders a big no. You can go Supermans. So same thing. We can raise either hands and feet. Or if you're just going hands or just chest. So this removes the shoulder, but keeps the upper back engaged. So like a little W, if you will, with your arms. Beautiful. So there's that. Split squats. Pretty similar to your lunge steps in a lot of respects. But instead of having weight balance between both feet, which is a variation, I want to bias your front leg. This could be what Meg was doing before, where you lift your foot on an object, bench, sofa, to relieve the back leg, or foot down. So this is either going to be, 4 reps on my left leg. If I'm 50-50, I'm going to be over my left leg. My stance is objectively pretty narrow. I do that on purpose, but you don't have to. So I can let my left leg do the work here. I'm going to squat down, very much on my left leg. Can add weights to hands. Doing 8 per side, right? That's just 4 for demonstration. I only bring my feet back together to switch legs. I'm doing the Bulgarian variation, same principle. You can't see my body, my body here, but this is fine. Or this. You can do the same thing. Right. So basically biasing a front leg position. If you have questions, let me know. Otherwise, let's get the party started. 16 alternating bird dogs, 16 prone swimmers or Supermans, or the little W shape. And then 8 per leg split squats. We're doing 3 total sets. In this case, resting as needed. Between sets, between movements. When you're ready, let's get started. Bird dogs alternate or opposite arm, opposite leg lift. There you go. With your bird dogs again, think about reaching towards the opposite ends of your room or whatever you're in, versus reaching as high as possible with your limbs. You still want a light core engagement, rib cage slightly down. And if help, start with your toes on the ground. Yeah. Good. So just to clarify, keep rolling, guys. But if you're watching this, it's going to be toe down first, then lift versus a default lift. So just to be clear, it's prone stormers or Supermans. Not unless you want to do both. But that was not let's say Meg's doing extra. Coach Meg's doing extra. Which is totally fine.
16 on the list, so I'm doing 8 of each.
It says slash.
Oh. I know it says slash, but it says 16.
Total.
Correct. So I'm doing 8.
I'm into it. Mostly you can do one or the other. You do not have to do both unless you really want to. So for us thinking for split squats, yeah, I'm digging that bugs. You can also do good mornings. If you want more legs, single leg deadlifts, but I'll let you I'm open to whatever substitution you want to put in there, Meg. I'm fine with that. Nice. I like the split squats. So just like your goblet squat, if you are working with the same weights you have at home, you're like, hey, I have these 10 pounds. They're great. Maybe you bought some more, but it's still not enough to, make those squats feel challenging. You can take your weights from your sides, like you have them now, to your shoulders. You can have one in front of you. So by elevating the height of your weight, it's going to challenge your body position more. Not in a bad way. If that feels terrible, go back to the farmer's carry style hand position. But we can make things slightly harder by positioning the weights in different places instead of buying more weights if you don't want to. And it's okay if I don't see like the floor work, so that's kind of hard to see.
We know Maxine's down there doing it. We know.
Yeah, we know. She's just
Not laying on her mat going, God, fuck this. Oh.
I bet you though, like under that workbench, it is so clean.
Yeah.
She sees it every week. It's gotta be. Or there's no secrets under there. Excellent. Yeah, and I was gonna say your split squat, if you're going Bulgarian, it doesn't have to be a huge lift of the foot. It could just be like a couple inches. I had a client ask yesterday, can a Bulgarian split squat be too low? And I don't, unless it's the floor, probably not. It can be too high. Sometimes your hip flexors are really tight. Your foot can certainly be too high. But I don't know, maybe it's a go. And that back foot position on your split squat is up to you. Like I said, I tend to be really narrow just because it handicaps my back leg on purpose. But if you like a longer stance, you have long legs, it's okay to be long. Just try and make sure the emphasis is on your front leg versus your back.
I just realized I was on mute. I was all hollering at you guys on the floor.
Just ignoring you. Being like
I'm doing my bird dogs, damn it.
them. Shut up. Leave me alone.
Believe.
We weren't ignoring you, I promise. We just didn't hear you.
No, I heard you. You couldn't hear me.
Yes, that's fair. We do that to the cat all the time when she's screaming at us. I'm like, do you hear something? Do you hear something? And Nikki's phone will recognize, like, animal sounds. It'll just like cat sound, cat sound, cat sound, cat sound. And they just ignore her the whole time. Not all the time. Only when she's never been fed. And it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
Naturally.
For a single leg RDL without flexion.
It could be single leg RDL. It could honestly be a Romanian deadlift if you feel good with a little weight and you want to go 2-footed. Right? Totally up to you how you want to approach that.
So this is like this is okay.
Yeah.
But actually, well, it's a kickstand on the other. I just have to probably be careful.
You know what? I will say this. If you need, put your hand against a wall. So if you just need to like use your arm, I know it's okay if you're off camera on that one. Use your arm. Or if you feel like you're going to use the big toe because you can't help it, because I don't know, we have old habits. It's okay to just do kind of Romanian deadlifts instead with both feet on the ground. Or good mornings. So if you feel tempted to use your toe, go back to a 2-foot variation. Nice job. With the bird dogs, I find while they're not, I would say, objectively challenging for many people, they might be for some. I really like them for a proprioception drill, right? If you're doing them well with a slight rotation of the hip down, you might even get a little bit of like a, let's say, psoas, oblique feeling, depending on where you're feeling it, right? Just to be clear, that's this part, psoas right above the hip, and then a little, this part, it's going to over the hip joint. So you might, or maybe that TFL, doesn't matter, that part. But this is okay if it's not the hardest thing in the world. What I have found personally that's really helpful for is positioning on my bike and bringing awareness to if I'm tilting, which, right, tilting pelvis or not, which is not a bad thing, but I'm much more aware of my pelvis position when biking. If you run, probably valid there too.
Really valid.
Meg knows that I don't run unless chased. So I try not to, or I try to avoid running when possible, but that's okay. Yeah, for the prone swimmers, or I should say any of the prone stuff. So the belly down, the Supermans, prone swimmers. If you just want to rest your forehead, your chin's okay too. But if you want to rest the head, so you get a pillow, whatever, something to rest your head on, it's okay to go like forehead to the ground. Can feel better on the neck sometimes. And chin to chest. So from the side, so this chin to chest tends to be a little more supported in a neck position. So I think the prone swimmers can be done fully prone, as in there's no head lift whatsoever, which is nice if you're having some head and neck discomfort.
My chin was a glasses modification, man. Sorry.
You know what? I genuinely have never thought about that, but that makes sense. Is that just because they fall off when you go like that?
If I put my face down, they smush into my face real hard.
Oh, well.
It's all good.
If you get glasses like babies have, they're made of rubber and they smush under your face anyway. And they're like this.
Well, I won't break because they're sport glasses, but still. I'm doing my single legs. It's great.
See, Meg's doing what you do, Maxine. She's off camera telling us what she's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I'm doing it. Nobody else can
I believe you. I believe you.
Not drinking coffee over here. Just kidding.
Never.
So there you go.
It's here. It's not on the floor.
was really hoping it was an actual beer, just being like, here's my beer bottle. Do you like? I am not drinking beer.
Where's
Too
that?
early for that. No, thank you.
Joseph isn't here. I feel like that's not on the table.
No, that's true. 3 total sets. I think most of us, I get the impression, are touching round 3 or if just finished round 3. Again, it's okay for slightly off in timing. If it isn't timed together, I don't expect you to be synchronized. Yeah, there you go. Beautiful. And with the split squats, everyone's doing a great job. If you have a leg or a side that you certainly find you struggle with more, it's okay if the range of motion isn't exactly the same, right? So that I don't need like a hip crease below parallel on the split squats. If you have it, great, but it's not a default expectation, especially when we're talking about singular sides on hips, knees, and ankles. Yeah. Those look great, Tyler. And it's this icon, it's an angle thing, so maybe I'm wrong. If you ever feel knee heavy and that doesn't feel great, you can just gently send the hip back to start with, and that can be slightly more sort of more back squatty, if you will, versus front squat. But a knee forward, I'm not against a knee forward. It's mostly in case your knees don't like it. My knee stopped liking that. Now it likes it again, but it took some time. Beautiful. So we'll take a quick break. Let's talk about our final thing. We have a bit of ab work. So it is 3 active stations, 1 rest, so 4 total stations. They're all 30 seconds each. We have mountain climbers, which we can talk about substituting Meg, but mountain climbers with a 2-second pause. This can be done it's written as on your hands, right? Top of a plank shape, top of a push-up. But if your wrist's not loving that, we can go to a forearm position or an elevated forearm position, like onto your couch or something soft. So 30 seconds, right, of mountain climbers, your 2-second pause, pretty straightforward. It's basically a pause towards the knee. So 1 rep would be 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You can do that. So instead of jumping, that's the variation we're gonna take. Prone toe reaches. Basically, you're gonna be laying down and you're gonna have your feet in the air, right? My feet are in the air. I'm gonna reach for my toes. Reach. If you don't touch, that's fine, because sometimes our legs and arms aren't the same length. If you do, great. We gotta reach, right? 30 seconds. And then we have the alternating Samson stretch. Again, we can just consider this like a hip opener. So your back foot on this can be active, right? As in toe flexed or not. If it needs to be here, that's fine. The Samson part is rotation. So if I'm left leg forward, the rotation is towards my side. So I'm just opening up this hip, right? You don't have to switch this. Maybe it's like if switching's a pain. Again, your foot can be flexed or not, so this should be pretty okay. But I like to squeeze my butt first. So if I feel like you tend to tilt that way, right? A butt squeeze just to get the hip over the knee is step 1. Then the stretch might be a bonus. So you might not get a whole lot more here, but I don't mind. This is not your stretch. This is your stretch. And then you have rest after that. Any questions on the movements and substitutions? Basically, the mountain climbers is an extended plank hold. If you can't do a plank hold, right? I mean, you just dead bugs. Dead bug hold's great. You can do a hollow hold, Meg, if you want to do like a hollow holdy thing. You can do up to 30 seconds. That could be a long time. So it's okay if, some variation there.
How many reps did you say?
It's just for time. So we'll run a kind of a good question. We're just gonna run a clock. And I will say the mountain climbers are basically an extended plank hold. Essentially what it is, with a sneaky leg lift in between. And what I'll do is It's help if you want to run your own clock, you're welcome to. Obviously, I'm going to run a clock for the group. So I'll let you know when to go, when to rest. If you're a little off the clock, that's not the end of the world. Your first movement, our movements, is going to be our mountain climbers with 2-second pause. I'll remind you of each thing as we're going through it. And there is a distinct rest after your third and final station, which is the Samson stretch. I'm going to start my clock here. This counts down from 10, so give me a second here. You're starting your mountain climbers or your mountain climber variation in 2, 1, and go. So we're going 30 seconds worth here. Resting, if you need to rest in between, is fine. If you want to do shoulder taps, Meg, if you get bored, that's cool too. You don't have to, but it's an option. We're switching in 3, 2, 1. So you're on your back here. Your feet are in the air. Keep your legs are bent, but you're still going to reach for your toes. So you're going to lay down, reach up, lay down, reach up. If you don't love that, find a different variation that you like. Try to reach with both hands, Arisa. Yeah, there we go. 3, 2, 1. You're going to find a half kneeling position. Back foot can be right flexed or not. Stretching, right? So if I have left leg forward, squeeze your right butt cheek, that might be it. If you have some room, you can take whatever your bottom leg is and reach across just to accentuate the stretch on your downward leg. Good. Go ahead, switch sides. Yeah, and the across, I realize, so I can't see my lower body. So my right leg is bent. My downward leg is this one. I'm going to reach just sort of towards my left knee. Or towards across the body on that bottom leg. If the rotation feels unnecessary, take it out. Go ahead and rest. That's 30 seconds of, I would say, rest, transition, whatever it is. That's round 1. We're doing a total of 3. Right? Doing a total of 3 of these. If you feel comfortable alternating in that Samson, that's fine. If you want to stay on one side for about 15 seconds and switch, I'll give you a 15-second call out. We're going to go back to your mountain climbers in 3, 2, 1, and go. Substitutions for mountain climbers. Coach Mike's doing it. It's giving you a plank hold, shoulder taps if you're feeling antsy. And your mountain climbers can be knee to knee or like knee to opposite, or knee to elbow or knee to opposite elbow. So cross body here, straight up and down. 2, 1, switch. So laying on your back, toes are in the air. You're gonna reach for your toes. There you go. It's okay if you don't touch them, to be clear. There you go. Go ahead and rest. Sorry, rest, excuse me, switch. I'm tired. Words. Let's go find that lunge shape. Half kneeling. If it needs to be standing, that's okay. You're going to hold that either isometric position, or if you need to release it, unsqueeze your butt, take a break, and then re-squeeze, that's okay. You're going to hold each side for about 15 seconds. So that's 15 seconds-ish, right? Let's go ahead and switch sides. Unless you like one side needs a little more love, that's okay. You could be a little creative with your time distribution here. Good. Go ahead and rest. Good. This will be your final rotation through this. Again, if you want to do an extra round, that's fine, but I only have 3 programmed for today. Your final set of mountain climbers with a 2-second pause starting now. Good. Go ahead and switch. You're going to lay on your back. And then you're going to reach for your toes. There you go. 10 seconds remaining on this station. 2, 1. Let's find a half kneeling position. There you go. In this case, you can count to yourself. Be like 15 seconds per leg. The reach, again, is optional. We're just extending or lengthening outside of the body. Nikki Brown has poked his head in. Meg's busy. Arisa says hello.
Nikki Brown.
And Maxine says hello from the ground.
Oh.
15 seconds per side. Again, it's okay to do a mental count on that one. Beautiful. All right, 15, 1-5, not 5-0, just to be clear. The reason, go ahead, rest. Well-deserved rest. Maxine, you can pop up off the ground if you like. The reason I emphasize a little butt squeeze before any sort of deviation or lean forward or extra movement of the body, especially from hip to knee, is if we can, in this case, right, bottom leg, if I can squeeze my butt just a little bit and get my hip into neutral, right? And if you're not sure, again, you can look. Sorry, I can't see that, can you? Basically, if we tend to default to this, right, it becomes here. For those of us who tend to be over tucked, it might actually be relax. But hip joint over knee and a squeeze of the butt or an activation can just say, hey, we might have tight quads, but they could still work under a bit of, they can still flex under a bit of tension. Obviously, if it feels dodgy, don't do it. But just teaching your body, tight quads can still contract. Doesn't mean you don't need to roll out your quads anyway. Beautiful work. If you have any questions about what we did today or why, or maybe you have some equipment, you're like, hey, I'd love to do, like, I tend to have more barbell based stuff or things. I can kind of keep that in mind. Or variety of movement that incorporates what you have at home. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday or whenever you watch this video. Thank you for joining Tyler and dog and partner. It's lovely to see. And I wish you sore legs and a good recovery.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks,
See you
Coach.
next week.
Bye.
Thanks.